It's a trivia question. Don't suppose anybody remembers a film where a man accidentally contaminates a vast chocolate vat with a human corpse, but the resulting chocolates turn out to be a smash hit, and he has to keep finding corpses to add to the mix to...
Okay, now, honestly, people aren't going to believe this, but have you told me about this before?
No, we
okay, now then, this stars, weirdly, I believe it's either written by and may even feature Michael Palin, of all people.
Really?
And it is called... this is driving me insane now. I know this one. No, don't cheat. Don't show it, Harry, because I'll cheat otherwise.
Okay.
I'm going to turn I don't want to see it on the computer. I've got to get this. I've got to get this. And I've got a feeling it might even have... might even have Tom Conti in it. And it's called something like... Something Passions?
Unfortunately, this is a question. He's throwing it open to us.
Throwing it open. I'm going to get this.
Emailed in. He says it's hilarious because he had to pick at one point, but doesn't have the same effect.
Listen, let's have a musical choice from you, Rufus, and then I will try and get it during the course of that song.
Steve,
Consuming Passions.
Really?
I think it might be called Consuming Passions.
That'll be it. Harry's going to check it.
Let's have the song and then we'll come back. We'll find out if I'm right.
Famously, earlier this year, Joan Wasser, Jonas Policewoman, and myself duetted on a rip-roaring cover of Michael Jackson's Black or White. This is her second duet of the year with somebody called Rufus Wright. It's her and Rufus Wainwright with a song called To America.
Is it right, my love? Is it right?
Rufus's musical choice on this week's show, and remind us what it was.
It was Joan Wasser, or Jonas Policewoman, with Rufus Wainwright, and To America.
Thank you very much indeed. So, before we played that tune, a question had come in, and I like to think that this is public service broadcasting at its very best, and it's very specific as well.
Paul emailed in. We were talking about improbable 70s British films, and he says, I don't suppose anyone remembers a film where a man accidentally contaminates a vast chocolate vat with a human corpse, but the resulting chocolates turn out to be a smash hit, and he has to keep finding corpses to add to the mix to keep his job and save the company.
Well, just before we heard the tune, I threw out there Consuming Passions. My belief is that Michael Palin was involved either in it or maybe even wrote it or co-wrote it. It was possibly based on a play, and I have a feeling maybe someone like Tom Conti also appeared. And I've not had this question, I've not looked on the internet. Tell me.
Yeah, it was written by Michael Palin and Terry Jones.
Come on! Is it called Consuming Passions?
It's called Consuming Passions. It gets 5.3 out of 10 from user ratings on IMDb. Astonishing cast. Jonathan Pryce, Vanessa Redgrave, Prunella Scales, Thora Hird, John Wells, Timothy West, Andrew Sachs,
friend of the BBC,
Willie Rushton, Wincy Willis.
Wincy Willis was in it.
I know.
Man alive. No Tom Conti though.
No Conti.
No,
that's a shame. Just check there on that. Just click on that one. I want to just confirm that where it says more. I just need to be completely right.
That is extraordinary.
Yeah, no. If you have any other queries before the end of the show that you feel I could help out on, I've got this. This is what angers me about me. Is I've just got. It's like I can't get rid of this information that's in my head. I wish it was, philosophy, quoting poetry. I wish I was Stephen Fry. Instead, I've just got this huge clutter of pointless information. Why do I need? I've never even seen that film. I'm not interested in seeing it. I've got no interest in Consuming Passions, and yet I cannot get it out of my head. It sickens and angers me, and maybe Dr. Tim can tell me why. But yeah, if you want to get in touch, maybe you've got any quick queries, or you have another plot for our 70 Star movie, then get in touch.
Text us on 64046 or email Stephen.
Some guys
Hey, didn't she? Is Lauren Hill okay? Didn't she go sort of insane or something? I don't want to criticise her, but because she's never really done much since. She put out sort of a weird live album or something.
Yeah, we've all had our moments, Steve, but we all move on, don't we?
Well, yeah, but I just want to know if she's okay. It's like we were saying, we're concerned earlier.
She married a Marley, didn't she?
Did she marry a Marley?
She married a Marley. Can't remember which Marley.
But was she burdened by the pressures of fame? Was that one of the reasons that she... And then the Fugees got back together?
Yeah.
I just want to know that she's okay. If you can get in touch.
Lauren, if you're listening,
please.
Just text us on 64046 or email stephen.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk.
It'd be great if Lauren Hill just texted in now.
Yeah.
Always listen online every week. Love the show. Big fan of Rufus. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not mental. Thanks for checking. LOL. Would be tremendous. We were just talking about how it sickens and angers me that I've got this garbage, useless film garbage in my head. We've had a little criticism.
Yeah, Stuart in Lincoln's not happy with your Consuming Passions, Rev. He says you're looking at an incorrect web link. as if it was a web link. It came from your brain.
from my mind.
originally. It was called Secrets and starred Warren Mitchell. Now, there is an element of truth in that.
Well, now I mentioned in passing, didn't I, that I thought it was based on a play or some such.
Yeah, Secrets was originally from 73, again written by Jones and Palin. It's effectively the same thing, but it was brought up into a film for consuming passion.
Get in there, sucky. Gut rot, sucky. Oh, was that a phrase? Was that a phrase that extended beyond the boundaries of Bristol?
Not even Hannah.
I don't know. I think it was specific to where Harry and I grew up. So, Rufus, you must have had when you were in when you grew up in Little Dorrit.
Yeah.
Were you? I don't mean that in a rude way. It sounds horrific, that. But yeah, in the little village of Dorrit. Did you ever hear that phrase?
No, of course not. No.
And it was generally accompanied by a kind of come on hand gesture.
Yeah, you had to sort of you had to kind of grasp with your fingers. Sucky gut rot. Sucky. I'm presuming you can guess where that leads. And gut rot, I think, was just a general wishing you gut rot, wishing ill on your gut. Did you have forms? Surely up north there was various.
Get
forms.
in.
Get in.
Get exists outside Newcastle. Skinshies?
What's that?
Skinshies.
Skinchies?
No.
Skinshies.
What's that?
It's when you cross your fingers and it means that nobody can bestow ill or taggings upon you. So you cross your fingers, Skinshies. Double Skinshies is obviously 2 hands. Skinshies for life, across the chest. But I must have done Skinshies for life a good 100 times. Surely if you do it once, it's enough.
Well, yeah, you've done Skinchies for life. And why would you go to just to Skinchies? Always go straight to Skinchies for life, surely. It seems pointless to have that sort of climb, that medal system.
But then there wouldn't be any fun in the game.
It sounds like there's no fun anyway.
Steve, I'm wondering if you were at school, if you didn't want something and you wanted to auction it off, you said the Latin word quiz. And whoever wanted the thing most said ego. That was how we had our fun back then.
Auction it off!
Yeah. Quiz ego.
Wow.
Sickening.
Yeah.
That's true as well, isn't it?
It is true,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not even a joke. That's remarkable. But this is the thing, you see, is that it sickens and angers me because I'm full of useless trivia and nonsense. My suspicion is, Rufus, that you never suffered from that. You are merely, your mind is rotating around, perhaps the classics, some Latin.
I wish my mind was like the hard drive, and I could edit information, but I can't. I remember trying to cram my GCSEs, trying to get some information about the Industrial Revolution into my head, and having nothing but note-for-note Brian May and Robert Cray guitar solos.
Wow.
Could not shift them. Couldn't shift them.
So you're mindful of quite bad MOR rock as well. Wasn't even classy stuff.
No,
Wow, that's tremendous.
Disappointing.
Listen, before we get to the end of the show, let's squeeze in this tune from Paul Weller and Adele. They teamed up in the Made of Al studio to perform exclusively for Six Music, and this is their version of Adele's Chasing Pavements.
BBC Six Music.
Hub Combo. Paul Weller and Adele.
Paul Weller and Adele recorded exclusively for Six Music, and yes, if you enjoyed that, you can look online and you can watch video footage of them recording it. You can also press your red button, is that right? So perhaps while you're watching Strictly Come Dancing, you can just press the red button and tune into Adele and Weller as well. Almost it, time. Our old enemy has almost defeated us. But sorry, just to go back to what was the nonsense you spoke at school, Rufus? Apologies.
Far from nonsense, Stephen. It was good school Latin. It was the word quiz, which literally translates as whom.
Sorry, so once again, just paint a scenario. Where might I use this?
I'm in the grubber, or the tuck shop. I have a Bakshi Revel that I would like to auction to anybody who feels like it. And my cry is quiz. And the first person... Meaning whom? And the first person to reply with ego, meaning I, becomes the new proud owner of said Revel.
Wow.
We have had an email from Weldon Timmons.
Weldon Timmons.
Weldon, thank you so much for emailing. He says, here I am, an expat Bristolian in San Jose, California, listening to you all. I'm afraid I don't know about sucky, but sympathise with the shame of knowing about quiz ego. He spelt it inappropriately, quiz ego. Not quite right, Weldon.
Feel the burn.
We'll let you off.
Sucky.
Thanks, Weldon, for getting in touch. You're right, quiz ego, nothing wrong with that.
Weldon Timmons.
Astonishing.
That's why he left Bristol.
He was run out of town.
You do not have a name like Weldon Timmons in Bristol and let it be known. What's your name? Oi, me. What's your name? Weldon what? Timmons, right? Get the burning torches. Wow, that's extraordinary. I think maybe should you introduce some Latin phraseology to us once a week now? I think we could really. No, do you know what I mean? I think after your etiquette that you provided in the past.
Yeah.
I just think we could once again. I'm all for public service broadcasting, as you know. There's been a lot of scandal at the BBC. I don't want to name names, but I think we all know who we're talking about. They've single-handedly ruined the Beebs' reputation. We're trying to bring it back to what it once was, under the great days of Lord Reith, where you could tune into the BBC and you learnt something. You were educated, you were entertained, and you were informed, and you were told who to hate. Within the empire, which the colonies were annoying us that week. We want to get back to those glory days. Okay? And I don't mean because, Chris Moyles is mouthing off about the Polish. No, you want to be informed with your hatreds. Okay? So that's exactly what we'll try and do from now on. But yes, I think some Latin phrases, some Latin terminology, and just once again, paint out a scenario. So I'm perhaps at the golf club. I'm going away for 3 months.
Okay.
So I'm not going to need me golf shoes.
Okay.
Or a lovely pair of brogues.
Yeah.
I want to lend them to anyone in the club.
Yeah.
What would I shout?
There's an extra element to this. You may want to get rid of something you don't want, and by shouting Ego, someone's going to regret it, and then quickly follow it up with Ego D, which cancelled the original Ego cry. But you just have to shout the one word, quiz, as loudly as you can.
Right.
So everyone can hear it.
Well, thank you very much indeed. It's hugely informative. Round of applause for Latin.
Thanks.
It's a dead language, but not in Rufus's mind. Do we have live music next week? Does anyone know? Does anyone care?
Yeah, I think we do.
Ah, right, yes, okay, yes. No, Central Tempest. I'll explain more when we are here next week, but it's going to be hopefully some live poetry / hip-hop, which I know we're all a big fan of. Stuart McConey, he's up to his old tricks, coming next, isn't he? Yeah, I thought as much.
On digital, online, BBC.
Dave Grohl and his Foo Fighters, kickstarting the Steve Show in spectacular rock fashion. Hello, thank you so much for tuning in. Six Music, Steve Merchant, and my cronies here, the Steve Show, Sunday, what's the date? 14th? 14th of December, 2 Steve shows to Christmas, and we are not here. Do not email or text in, is that right, Harry?
Yeah, don't text in on 64046, and don't email stephen.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk.
Please do not get in touch.
Don't do that.
Do not get in touch, because we are not here. We are not here live in the studio. It may sound like it. Do not be fooled. You have been conned by the BBC one too many times, listeners. We're not going to allow it to happen again during this watch. Not on my watch. And if also you're expecting some pre-recorded edginess from the BBC, no. Alright, we're stamping that out, are we right? Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a little bit too much edginess. There's a lot of edge around the BBC. You go around every...
Walking around, who's there? Is it going to be someone off Doctor Who? Is John Thompson out?
Even this conversation about edginess is making me a bit edgy.
It's making me edgy.
It's worrying.
Discussing edginess, because I think, frankly, a lot of the respected opinion makers in this country, the likes of the Daily Mail and the tabloid newspapers, Sir Richard Littlejohn, and it may not yet be Sir Richard, but it can only be a matter of time. It can only be a matter of time. New Year's Honours, if the New Year's Honours list do anything this year, it should be to reward the likes of he. And, yes, and they are rightly up in arms at the levels of edginess now that are through the roof. You remember the old Blue Peter appeals, where you'd see a Blue Peter appeal, kind of fake cardboard thermometer?
Yeah.
It might be how many African people they've saved, or how many